MMC TV USA. Now on POTV, Channel 100.
Well, hello there once again and welcome to MMC World Roundup, bringing you news from Sri Lanka and across the globe. Let's take a look at your top stories first. Sri Lanka to attract about $5 billion in foreign funds in the next 2 years. A free trade agreement with Thailand. King Charles III remains wholly positive. Well, taking a look at the news in detail, Sri Lanka celebrated its 76th Independence Day at the Golfers Green. President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena jointly presided over the celebrations on the theme, Let's Build a New Country. At the Independence Day celebrations, the national anthem and Jai Mangala Gatha was sung by a choir of 100 students. This year's celebrations prioritized the Tri-Services Guard of Honor segments according to the Ministry of Public Administration, Home Affairs, Provincial Councils and Local Government. The War Heroes Commemorative Parade was held with the participation of 3,042 members from the Army, 917 members from the Navy, 605 members from the Air Force, 209 members from the Police Special Task Force, 379 members from the Civil Defence Force, 500 members from the National Cadet Corps, 22 retired officers and 29 differently abled officers. The parade displayed over 100 armoured vehicles, some of which have been locally fabricated and manufactured. The police launched a special traffic plan from January 30th for the Independence Day parade rehearsals. Meanwhile, Consul General of Sri Lanka in Los Angeles with Sri Lanka America Association of Southern California proudly celebrates Sri Lanka's 76th Independence Day. The Sri Lanka 76th National Independence Day took place on February 3, 2024, with pride and grandeur in California, United States of America. The Independence Day anniversary was celebrated by the Consul General of Sri Lanka in Los Angeles with the Sri Lanka America Association of Southern California. Following this ceremonial start, the hosting of the national flag and singing of the anthems of Sri Lanka and the United States of America set the tone for the occasion. The tradition continued as officials proceeded to lighting the oil lamp, symbolizing unity and prosperity. The celebration featured a captivating cultural show with contributions from diverse dance academies across the states. Dancers from each academy presented vibrant performances, infusing the National Independence Day celebration with energy and cultural richness. Dr. Walsh Jaisinghe, chairman and founder of the Sri Lanka Foundation in Los Angeles, graced the event with his presence. Moreover, students from the Sri Lanka Foundation Academy of Performing Arts Dancing School showcased a spectacular traditional dance performance with the guidance of Achla Veerasinghe, the operational director of the Academy of Performing Arts, further enriching the event with their talent and artistry. Sri Lanka expects to attract about $5 billion in foreign funds in the next 2 years once it is able to finalize a restructuring of its overseas debt, the country's foreign minister said. The nation defaulted on its overseas debt in May 2022 after a severe shortage of foreign exchange reserves triggered the worst financial crisis since independence from Britain in 1948. Sri Lanka has since made progress on about $11 billion of bilateral debt restructuring and hopes to have agreements in place with all key creditors, including bondholders, by May at the latest, Foreign Minister Ali Sabri said. It will then focus on kickstarting major infrastructure projects suspended during the crisis, including highway and expansion of the main airport near Colombo and a $2 billion light railway project with Japan. Sri Lanka's private creditors account for about $16 billion of debt, including international sovereign bonds. That would make it easier for investment to flow into Sri Lanka, including $1.5 billion committed for Colombo's Chinese-funded port city, as well as renewable energy and port terminal projects by India's Adani Group. Sri Lanka secured a $2.9 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund last March, helping to temper inflation, increase state revenue, and rebuild foreign exchange reserves. Its national carrier and main telecommunications company are on a list of state-owned enterprises to be revamped with private investment under the IMF program. Jio Platforms, a unit of India's Reliance Industries, is among the bidders for the latter. A free trade agreement with Thailand during the visit of Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin will allow the two countries to benefit from potential trade and investment that is untapped at the moment, President Ranil Wickremesinghe has said. Sri Lanka has also signed an agreement to cooperate on gem and jewellery. A new bilateral air services agreement was also signed. Thai Air will begin daily flights to Sri Lanka from March 31st. The main focus of this visit of Thai Prime Minister is accelerating economic cooperation between Sri Lanka and Thailand. There is significant potential for the expansion of trade and investment ties between our two countries, which have remained largely untapped. This is the second FTA Sri Lanka is concluding with an ASEAN partner, the first being with Singapore. The two sides worked expeditiously to conclude this agreement, highlighting the strong interest of both governments on this important endeavour. This is a milestone in our economic partnership, and operationalizing the FTA will be a priority. The FTA is expected to boost trade and investment ties between the two countries. Additionally, we have renewed the air services agreement to enhance connectivity between the two countries, and an MOU has been concluded between the Gem and Jewellery Research and Training Institute of Sri Lanka and the Gem and Jewellery Institute of Thailand. Both of these agreements will enhance economic, trade and tourism exchanges. As partners in the Indian Ocean region, we look forward to collaborating with Thailand along with other IORA partners within IORA, which Sri Lanka is chairing at present. The two countries have also worked well at various multilateral fora. It was highlighted to the Prime Minister that there is much that needs to be done by like-minded countries of the global south such as Thailand and Sri Lanka to create an effective impact in shaping the evolving new world order.
රක්ෂණ නියාමන කොමිෂන් සභාවේ වෙබ් අඩවියට සහ සමාජ මාධ්‍ය ජාලා වෙත පිවිසෙන්න.
Some 500,000 school children in Sri Lanka are expected to benefit from a fortified rice lunch distribution program over an 8-month period, the government said. The Ministry of Agriculture and Plantation Industries, the Ministry of Education, the World Food Programme, the National Food Promotion Board and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have collaborated on the project, a statement from the President's office said. The launch of the program was held in Colombo on Thursday, February 1st. Speaking at the event, Senior Advisor to the President on National Security and the Chief of Presidential Staff, Sagala Ratnayaka, said, nurturing a healthy future generation was essential. The nutrition program's roots date back to 2003 with the intervention of the World Food Programme. The ongoing efforts align with President Wickremesinghe's vision for a poverty-free and healthier Sri Lanka. The expansion and strengthening of a program initiated to aid war-affected areas in the northern and eastern provinces was satisfactory, the official had noted. Following the unprecedented economic crisis exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, poverty levels in Sri Lanka experienced a significant surge. The Ministry of Health has received from UNICEF new oxygen-generating plants and equipment to save the lives of children and their families, especially during emergencies. With funding from Canada, UNICEF procured and installed at the cost of 800 million rupees 4 major oxygen plants in Avisavella, Kagala, Visamaharama and Udugama base hospitals, from where oxygen will be generated and distributed using cylinders to 30 other health facilities across the country. A handing over ceremony was held at Udugama Base Hospital in Galle District, where the Minister of Health Dr. Ramesh Patirana received the equipment from Mr. Christian Skog, UNICEF representative in Sri Lanka, and Mr. Eric Walsh, High Commissioner for Canada in Sri Lanka and Maldives, UNICEF said in a press release. The project, which will benefit over 3 million people, is part of UNICEF's broader support to strengthen the health system to provide a constant supply of oxygen to maternal and childcare facilities, especially during emergencies. Each oxygen plant can produce 20,000 litres of oxygen per hour and fill 50 litre size cylinders within a pace of 24 hours. UNICEF also supported the installation of power generators so that the oxygen plants can remain functional even during power outages. With the contribution of different partners, UNICEF has for long supported the Ministry of Health to strengthen the quality of health services for children across the country, especially during emergencies. Hong Kong's home carrier Cathay Pacific this week resumed flights to Sri Lanka from Hong Kong following a 4-year hiatus, resuming a legacy of serving the Sri Lankan market for over 30 years. The first flight from Bandaranaike International Airport successfully took off on Friday, 2nd February, marking the return of Cathay Pacific's 3 times weekly service from Colombo, operating on Wednesdays, Fridays and Sundays. Flights are operated by the airline's Airbus A330 aircraft, offering 28 fully flat seats in business class and 265 spacious seats in economy, ensuring a comfortable and premium travel experience for all customers. For both business and leisure travelers, the flights will serve as a gateway, offering connectivity via Hong Kong to Asia, the Southwest Pacific and North America. The airline is also promoting special fares for students traveling from Colombo to Sydney, Auckland, Singapore, Tokyo and Kuala Lumpur. Current passenger loads and booking trends have been promising, indicative of pent-up travel demand. Traffic from key customer segments including gem traders, students and leisure tourists is expected to steadily return to pre-pandemic levels. On the cargo side, flights with a belly capacity of 15 to 25 tons facilitate fresh seafood exports, leveraging Cathay's specialized Cathay Fresh product. Sri Lanka's expanding economy also promises growth in air freight across agriculture produce, fisheries and manufacturing verticals. In a win for climate action, Sri Lanka has adopted a new monitoring system to map greenhouse gas emissions from industries. This is a major step towards meeting the national goal of cutting industrial sector greenhouse gas emissions by 7% by 2030. The establishment of the new measurement, reporting and verification system was facilitated by the EU-funded Accelerating Industries Climate Response in Sri Lanka project, which aims to support the industrial sector to decarbonize and help Sri Lanka meet its commitment to combat global warming. Led by the Ministry of Environment's Climate Change Secretariat, the new MRV system is a result of a 1-year collaborative effort involving public and private stakeholders with the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, fielding international experts to provide technical support to this important process. Now in place, it constitutes a robust monitoring arrangement that can track greenhouse gas emissions for energy use in manufacturing as well as in industrial processes and product use in line with global standards for accuracy and transparency. The system also tracks the mitigation policies and measures in place for industrial processes and product use. Once fully operational, the new MRV system will allow the government to formulate data-driven policies and well-informed strategies to reduce and remove greenhouse gas emissions while aiding national planning and coordination. Moreover, it means Sri Lanka is better able to meet domestic and international disclosure requirements, including reporting against nationally determined contributions in line with the Paris Agreement. The adoption of the system allows identification of emission sources and trends within a variety of sectors and activities, enabling industries to roll out targeted improvements for energy efficiency, adopt better technology, and incorporate digitalization while ensuring continuous improvement.
රක්ෂණ නියාමන කොමිෂන් සභාවේ වෙබ් අඩවියට සහ සමාජ මාධ්‍ය ජාලා වෙත පිවිසෙන්න.
Approval has been given to give a National Vocational Qualification 3 to those who are involved in tapping palmyra, kithul and coconut trees and plucking nuts in Sri Lanka after 2 weeks of training. Dr. Krishantha Pathiraja, chairman of the Palmyra Development Board, said that steps will be taken to give a National Vocational Qualification 3-level certificate given by the National Apprenticeship Board to every person who works in palmyra, kithul and coconut tree tapping and nut plucking in Sri Lanka. A discussion was held at the Ministry of Agriculture and Plantation Industries regarding the measures taken for the welfare of people working in the fields of palmyra, kithul and coconut. Under the program, training is given on measures to be taken to prevent sudden illnesses, snake bites and falling from trees while climbing such trees. Also, it has been planned to provide concessional loan of 500,000 rupees to every person tapping palmyra, kithul and coconut. In addition to this, attention has also been paid to creating a system of providing insurance to people engaged in activities such as tapping palmyra, kithul and coconut trees and plucking nuts. Britain's King Charles III has been diagnosed with a form of cancer and will postpone public engagements to undergo treatment, Buckingham Palace said on Monday, but added he remained wholly positive about the scare less than 18 months into his reign. Charles, 75, who became king in September 2022 following the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth, has begun a series of treatments, the palace said, adding he was looking forward to returning to full-time duties as soon as possible. The cancer revelation comes after Charles spent 3 nights in hospital last month where he underwent a corrective procedure for a benign enlarged prostate. The palace said a separate issue of concern had been spotted during that hospital stay, but did not give any further details beyond saying tests had revealed the king had a form of cancer. As such, Charles will continue to have meetings with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, while his wife Queen Camilla will continue with her engagements. On Sunday, the king gave no indication of the diagnosis when he was pictured smiling and waving to onlookers as he attended a church service with Camilla. It was his first public outing since he and his daughter-in-law Kate left the same London hospital a week ago, where they had both undergone planned treatments. Kate, the Princess of Wales and wife of heir to the British throne Prince William, spent 2 weeks at the London clinic following abdominal surgery for an unspecified but non-cancerous condition. She will not be returning to royal duties until after Easter. William, who has been looking after their 3 children as she recovers, will carry out his first public engagement since her operation. While the royals usually closely guard details of their health, regarding it as a private matter, Charles has been open about his recent treatment. The leaders of Australia and Canada, where Charles is also head of state, expressed their best wishes and hopes for the king to make a speedy recovery, while US President Joe Biden said he was concerned by the news and planned to call Charles later. The owner of Yandex, often referred to as Russia's Google, has said it will pull out of its country of origin. Its Dutch-based parent company sold the operation in Russia for 475 billion rubles, much lower than its estimated market value. The sale to a consortium of investors means Yandex's Russian business is now a fully Russian-owned entity. The firm has previously been accused of hiding information about the war in Ukraine from the Russian public. Moscow has welcomed the latest deal, which the company said was the product of an extensive period of planning and negotiation over more than 18 months. Set up in the dot-com boom in the late 1990s, Yandex developed its own search engine, mapping and advertising businesses. Other services include taxis and food delivery. The $5.2 billion deal is believed to be significantly lower than Yandex's market value, which was worth around $30 billion in 2021. Despite its nickname of Russia's Google, Yandex has no ties to the US search engine giant or its parent company Alphabet. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, many foreign-owned businesses have exited the country, often selling assets on unfavorable terms. Russian President Vladimir Putin also ordered the seizure of others, such as assets belonging to Western brands Danone and Carlsberg. Yandex's co-founder Arkady Volsh is one of very few top Russian-linked businessmen to have publicly spoken out against Russia's invasion of Ukraine. He left the firm in 2022. Well, that's all the news we have for you today, but you can also find us on POTV, Samsung TV, LG TV, Apple TV, YouTube and Facebook Live, reaching the entire United States and across the globe. Thank you so much for joining in with us today, and until we meet again next week, have a wonderful week ahead.
To catch the full program and more, subscribe to MMC TV USA on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok.